You love your dog. You also didn't enjoy them today. Welcome to The Dog Who Asked for More, the podcast for dog parents whose lives look a little different because of their dog. This is where you figure out what your dog is actually telling you, stop second guessing yourself, and start building a path to a life that makes sense for both of you. I'm Em, a dog mom, former vet tech, dog trainer, and canine nutritionist who works with dogs learning to live differently because of their dog. Can we talk about something a lot of people feel and almost nobody says? Fitz, as a puppy, was a tornado. The cutest thing I had ever seen, and simultaneously the most exhausting creature I had ever been responsible for. There were days I genuinely could not put him down for 5 minutes without chaos. Days where I had to crate him just so I could take a shower. The energy, the neediness, the Velcro attachment, the inability to just settle, it was a lot. And I loved him through all of it, completely. But some days I also genuinely did not want to deal with it. Some days I just needed it to stop for a minute. Some days I put him in that kennel, not because it was training time, but because I just needed 10 minutes without a puppy, losing his mind, and some one-on-one time with Toby. And I felt guilty about that because you're not supposed to feel that way about something that loves you unconditionally. The exhaustion got more complicated when the relationship got harder. There was a period when we weren't getting outside enough because it wasn't always safe. And Fitz, who needed more stimulation than most dogs, who had all this energy and nowhere to put it, was inside with me, asking, always asking. Not because he was doing anything wrong, just because that's who he is. And I was already using everything I had just to manage the situation we were in. And he needed more than the situation allowed me to give. Those days, I would get through it, give him what I could, and do what I was able, and try to let myself off the hook for everything else. I was learning that doing what you can on a hard day is not the same as failing. I have never worked with a dog parent navigating something genuinely hard who hasn't been in this place. Not one. The ones doing the most, trying the hardest, showing up the most consistently, those are the ones who are the most depleted. Because you can't pour that much into something without starting to run on low. That's not a character flaw. That's just physics. The problem isn't that you feel it. The problem is that you've been told, directly or indirectly, that feeling it means something is wrong with you or your relationship with your dog. So you carry it quietly. And the exhaustion compounds. And the guilt compounds on top of that. And it doesn't have to work that way. Fitz is 8 now, and he is still that dog. Still Velcro, still asks for more than most dogs will ever ask for. Still has days where he's just a lot. And I love him in a way that I don't have the right words for. And some days he still exhausts me in a way that nothing else does. Both of those things can be true at the same time. That's just what it is. Here's what makes this complicated. The days that you don't enjoy your dog are usually also the days your dog is struggling the most. Because a dog who needs more doesn't scale back when you're depleted. They often escalate. They're feeling the same pressure you are. And so the days you have the least to give are the days that ask the most of you. You're exhausted, so you have less patience. So everything feels harder. So you're more depleted, so you have even less patience. And underneath all of it is this quiet voice saying, if you loved your dog enough, it wouldn't feel this hard. But that voice is wrong. The hardness isn't evidence of an insufficient love. It's evidence of the real love in a hard season. Those are not the same thing. The shift for me was understanding that both things could absolutely be true at the same time. I love Fitz completely. And some days, he exhausts me in a way that nothing else does. And when I stopped trying to resolve the tension between them, stopped trying to make the love cancel the exhaustion or the exhaustion mean something about the love, it got easier to just be in the day or in the moment without guilt layered on top. You can love your dog completely and totally and not enjoy them today. Both things are true, and neither one cancels the other out. But here's what happens when you give yourself permission to hold both. You start to notice the difference between a hard day and a hard situation. A hard day ends. A hard situation needs to change. And you start to notice what actually makes the hard days harder. Is it that your dog needs more enrichment and they aren't getting it? Is it that you're not getting enough support? Is it that you're carrying something that has nothing to do with your dog but is landing on the relationship anyway? Those are answerable questions, but you can't get to them if you're spending all your energy managing the guilt of just having the hard day. And this is where it gets a little confusing because even when you know that, even when you can see the difference, the guilt doesn't stop. You have a hard day and the voice is still there. You get through it and you still wonder if someone else would have done it better. The knowing doesn't automatically change the feeling. That is the part no one warns you about. You're allowed to have the days where you just get through it and that's all you do. You're allowed to look at your dog at the end of the day and feel love and exhaustion in equal measure. You're allowed to say today was hard and mean it without it being a referendum on your relationship. On the hard evenings with Fitz, a frozen lick mat, snuffle mat, or a chew are a couple of things that actually help us both calm down. Not because they fix anything, but because they give him something to do that isn't asking more of me in that moment. Everything I use to help Fitz in these moments is in our shop.pet store. You can find the link in the description. And remember, tomorrow, you always get to try again. What would it feel like to stop making the hard days mean something about you and just let them be hard days? You love your dog. You're also exhausted by your dog. You don't have to choose between the two things. And the fact that you're still showing up on the hard days, that's not nothing. That's actually the whole thing. And if you're sitting there thinking, I don't even know where to start with making the hard days less hard, the dog enrichment quiz will help you figure out what's actually missing and where to begin. Sometimes the hard days have a reason. The link is in the episode description. So be kind, spread joy, and remember, you showed up today. That's the whole job.